The header and the footer are added to HTML5. A lot of people think they're sectioning elements, but they technically aren't. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to talk about them in the same lesson because you usually use them in a similar way to using sectioning elements. However, one thing you should remember is that while most pages only have one article, a page could have multiple headers and footers. And before you get confused because a page only has one header and one footer, the reality is that I might create a page header, and you write the header just like you think, header, the word header. You can put anything you want in it. You should probably put it inside the body of your document, however. I usually put the headline and the navigation in my header, but you can put whatever you think is appropriate for your header. And that tells the user agent that this section, this H1 sectioning elements, the H2 and the navigation are all part of the header for the page. And the way you can tell that it's for the page is because this header is not in anything else. It's inside the body tag and nothing else. There's no other tag inside of it. We can go down to the bottom of our document and add a footer to the document by enclosing this text. And maybe I'll add a paragraph, class copy, and say copyright 2016. And that's all in the footer of my document. And again, it's the same as the header. You put the footer in your HTML. If it's inside the body tag, then it is the footer for the entire page. Just like the other sectioning elements, these elements don't affect the look and feel. There's a header here, but there's no difference in terms of how it looks. It's still going to just be an H1, H2, and a navigation, and that's our header. And then if you scroll down, here's our footer. This last paragraph looks exactly the same as the paragraph above it, and yet it's part of the footer. But where header and footer are different is that every single sectioning element, like a section can have a header. And an article can have a header. And an A-side can have a header, and an A-side can have a footer. The other thing you should remember is that they don't have to be at the top or the bottom. I know it says footer, but I'm putting it in the middle. Maybe I'm even not putting any content in right now, but that's where I want my information to go when I decide what should go in there. You have to think of headers and footers as almost like metadata that will display on the page. So header is things that you want people to know about before they read the content, before they review the page. Footer is more important after they read the content, after they read the page. But like one of the places you might see a footer at the top is on a blog post. Blog posts might have the information about when the article was written or what tags the blog post was tagged with. And all that could be argued as being part of a footer, part of that article. And again, if you preview it, none of these extra tags make any changes to the way the page looks. The page still has all the same sections. It has the same paragraph breaks. There's no extra space between the footer. There's not even any extra space where I added that empty footer. It's just empty. And so there's nothing there. So I'll just add a few styles so that you can see what these different footers and headers look like. I might say header, style every header. And I might want every footer to be bold or small caps. Let's say small caps. But then I want article headers to be red. So if we save that and preview, because this is in the header, so it's written in italics, all of this is italics. This is another header, so it's in italics. This is an article header, so it's in italics because of the header rule, but it's also red because of the article rule. So that's some of the ways you can use the header and footer tags. It gives you more things to catch with CSS. It's also a way for you to divide up your sections of your sectioning elements so that they have even more functionality in your HTML.